This is mental wellness in the modern world. Our mission is to connect biblical and psychological principles to better understand ourselves and the world around us. In a time when chaos is loud and pressure feels constant, peace isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Mental wellness isn't just about surviving, it's about finding clarity, strength, and meaning in the everyday. This is where honest conversations happen, where healing meets truth, and where you're reminded that you're not alone. Hi, I'm Eleni Lobene with Benison Kingdom Network, and this is Mental Wellness in the Modern World. Today I want to talk about a really hard truth. I want to talk about friendship and when it's time to move on from friendships. Now, there have been seasons in my life where I have had to make a really hard decision and have had to decide that something's not been good for me. And the earliest one I can remember was when I was in middle school. And it's funny because I think in middle school, the social dynamics really start to become solidified. They start to become important. They start to become really recognizable, right? You can start to see groups form. You can start to see more adult patterns of behavior. And I remember feeling like I wanted to be part of a certain group. And I remember seeing that there was a significant cost to that. And I was also really young, so for my grade when I was growing up, so I was never the most mature. And eventually I remember getting to high school and realizing I had more choices when there were people with regard to who I could spend my time with. And it became really clear after a while that certain people were not bringing out the best in me. And it was a really difficult realization. And I can't tell you that, oh, I just decided to change friend groups and that was so great. And then I liked myself better, because that isn't really what happened, right? Like, I continued to try and be friends with different people. And, I don't even really, frankly, remember all of the nuance because it was over 20 years ago. But I do remember these moments of clarity. And I remember thinking, gosh, I don't think I want to be like that. I had enough wisdom as a young person to recognize that. And I also became a Christian when I was really young, like around 13. So that gave me a really unusual, I think, moral compass that was really important to me as a teen. And so it really helped steer my direction when it came to choosing who I wanted to spend my time with. And I've noticed that throughout my life, there have been seasons, and more recent too, not just when I was a kid, where I've noticed that certain things just don't feel right. And I think there's this really uncomfortable process we have to go through, especially when we like somebody and we want them to be our friend and we want to be their friend. But when there's something that's just wrong, when they are encouraging you to be a version of yourself that is not your best, it's time to take a step back. And I've had this happen many times in my adult life where I've thought, gosh, that person's influencing me to do things I don't know that I want to do this. I don't know that this is right for me. And the big thing that I have, actually, the really interesting one that you might not think of, that really differentiates for me in friendships, is gossip. People who choose to gossip, that is such a difficult thing to resist doing in social settings when someone else starts. And I hate how I feel when I engage in any form of gossip. I feel gross. And that is very much a conviction from the Holy Spirit. And it's something that I just feel, I can't even be around it. It makes me so uncomfortable. When there's gossip, is having conversations about other people that are not related to me in any way, like as in like it's not my situation. It makes me feel just very, very, very uncomfortable. And for me, that's a really big red flag. And it's something I'm trying to recognize more and more in my friendships. Not to say that like someone gossips not gonna be their friend, because everyone does things that they shouldn't do. I absolutely do things I shouldn't do. But it's so toxic, and it's something that we have to train ourselves to not do. Like, I mean, we're talking really, really work at it. And the Bible, of course, talks about gossip tons, and the church covers gossip with prayer requests and, whatever all the time. But at the end of the day, us wanting to be in other people's business is just not usually helpful. And it usually just starts a form of toxicity that is just really powerful. So I want to encourage you to think about if you are engaging in gossip or maybe something else, there's some other red flag in your relationships that you want to really reconsider, and consider addressing them directly with your friend. I'm not saying run away from the friendship. I'm saying have the courage and the spiritual grounding to know when it's time to say, you know what, I don't really want to talk about this, or I don't really feel comfortable. Can we talk about something else? And if it doesn't end, then that maybe it's not something that can be resolved. But we need to hold ourselves and the people around us to the highest standard that we can, because at the end of the day, we become the people who are around us. I'm Eleni Lobene with Benison Kingdom Network. Thanks for tuning in to Mental Wellness in the Modern World.